Welcome to another segment of POPA On Point. My name is Brian Moriguchi. I'm president of the Professional Peace Officers Association. We're here to continue our discussion about morale within the Sheriff's Department. I'm joined here by Sheriff Jim McDonnell. Welcome.
Thanks for the opportunity.
About 50% of our members rated the treatment of employees as poor or horrible in our survey, and that's pretty troubling to us. The lowest morale seemed to be in custody division. We broke it down further into different areas of concern, and probably the greatest area of concern was the use of relieved of duty. So we've seen a change in the relieved of duty usage. It's gone up significantly. Our concern was that it was not being applied appropriately, and that many people who were, they may have actually violated policy, made mistakes, but the past practice was relieved of duty was reserved for those who made serious violations that could lead to termination or demotion.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the use of relieved of duty, and would you be willing to create some system that would ensure that people who are relieved of duty really do deserve to be relieved of duty?
Yeah, we're willing to take a look at it. It's still, the criteria is still the same. If the allegations are such that somebody may be subject to dismissal or demotion, that's appropriate then for relieved of duty. By leaving somebody in the workplace with serious allegations against them, we open ourselves up to liability. So we want to be able to protect the individual. We want to be able to protect the department from that additional liability. We do take it very seriously. We are trending down. We're down fairly significantly from where we were at the beginning of last year, and we hope to see that trend continue. But it is an evolution to be able to set the bar high, to be able to hold people consistently accountable. We want to be in a position where the things that we value as an organization, we show that we take very seriously. We are the LA County Sheriff's Department. We do hold our people to a very high standard, and as a result, we have the reputation that we do. But there will be people who feel that being relieved of duty was inappropriate and that they didn't need to be relieved of duty. Other people will look at that and they may get part of the story. They may not have the whole story. We're trying to be able to be in a position to look out for the department, the reputation of the department, as well as the individuals affected.
The relieved of duty for any of us in this career is a significant event to us.
Absolutely.
Right? So getting relieved of duty, you'll remember for the rest of your career when someone takes that gun and badge from you, which you're very proud of. It's a significant event. We have had complaints of people who were relieved of duty because of, some of them are false allegations. Some of them are actually false allegations from another employee.
Right.
Let's say a policy of equality violation. We understand the department has to do investigations, thorough investigations. Right. But when the department knows or suspects that there's a false allegation made, do you still believe that there's a need to relieve that person of duty to protect the department in some way from litigation? Because that employee has a false allegation already against them,
right,
and then has the department relieve them of duty, and it's kind of a double whammy to
right,
that employee.
Right. It's one of those where it's very difficult, certainly for the person in the workplace who's being affected directly by this, to be able to take a step back and see it from a 30,000-foot view, as well as their friends and the people they work with. We would deal with those on a case-by-case basis. I wouldn't be able to make a blanket statement and say we would always do it, we would never do it. We do weigh each one of them. We do realize the seriousness of what impact that has on the employee to be relieved from duty. So we do it very carefully and judiciously, but we want to be able to have the latitude to look at the individual facts of a case and then make a judgment based on what's available to us. Oftentimes, somebody who's relieved of duty, as the investigation moves forward, you begin to see things come out in the investigation that allow us to be able to put that person back to work. As soon as we can do that, we want to be able to do that because we value what they bring to the workplace as well. So it's a delicate balance. I know it has a major impact on morale and certainly on the individual and their family and their friends. So we don't take it lightly at all. Hopefully, as we continue to move forward, that everybody realizes what the standards are, and that substantial deviation or breaking the law is something that we have to take a strong position on, and we do that. When you look at the numbers that we're dealing with, we have 161 people now department-wide that are relieved from duty, down from 186. And so while that is a lot of people, you look at an 18,000 member department, and it is, kind of puts it in perspective a little bit. But again, for those individuals that are directly impacted, it is a very serious situation, and we respect that.
I know what we'd like to see. You talked about relieving them of duty and then bringing them back to work.
Right.
And I think that's a major change from what we used to do. In the past, they were not relieved of duty until an investigation revealed that there were potential significant violations, as opposed to there's a possibility that this is significant,
right,
and we're going to relieve you of duty and then bring you back if it's proven otherwise.
Right.
You understand what
Right,
I'm saying?
I do.
Would you be interested, or would you consider looking at that relieved of duty and the process in relieving people of duty to make sure that there is some evidence of misconduct prior to someone getting relieved of duty? And quite honestly, as the investigation goes, if that evidence increases,
Right.
certainly the person can then be relieved of
Right.
duty,
Yeah.
as opposed to
No.
relieving them of duty.
No, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm certainly willing to look at, any modification that makes sense for all the individuals as well as the department involvement. As we move forward, I think there has been, the way it's been done here for many years, created a stigma involving relieved of duty that may be disproportionate to what relieved of duty is today. And when I say that, I mean we may relieve earlier today, pending the investigation evolving and what facts are then uncovered, to be able to bring the person back. And it was different before, where, as you mentioned, it was waited until there was a period of time where you were pretty sure, based on the facts, that there was criminal activity or serious misconduct involved, and then a person would be relieved. And so I think the stigma attached to it was greater because of the way it was done previously. The way we're doing it now, we're looking at it that we have information that, if proven true, is either a criminal activity or serious misconduct that would probably result in either dismissal or demotion. And so I think it's kind of recalibrating where we are relative to relieve the duty. But again, not something we take lightly, something we want to reserve for those cases where we feel there's an impact to the department from a liability standpoint.
Let me talk about discipline, because we've also seen discipline rise on the department. The department recently actually redid their guidelines for discipline and increased the range, I guess. It's not necessarily increasing discipline, but
Right.
increasing the range all the way up to termination for a lot of cases. In the process for issuing discipline, a lot of the members in the survey complained about the use of these constitutional policing advisors.
Okay.
And we've had conversations about that, about a lot of the chiefs telling us that the constitutional policing advisors are the ones who are deciding what that discipline should be. And I know that's not the policy, and those chiefs are the decision makers. But understand that those chiefs, the way the process is put in now, that CPA, if they disagree with the chief, can take it to the chief's boss,
Right.
if you will.
Right.
And so unfortunately, a lot of these chiefs are saying, I don't want these CPAs to take it to my boss, so I'm just going to agree with them and issue discipline that I don't think is appropriate.
Yeah.
And so how do we fix that, though? I mean,
Yeah. Well,
do the CPAs really need to be in the process of discipline? Let me start with that one,
Yeah.
because constitutional policing, our recommendation, of course, was that they focus on constitutional policing issues,
Right.
use of force, disparate treatment,
Right.
protected class issues, that type of stuff. And that discipline be left up to management,
Right.
your executive level,
Right.
and that you have some group or some meeting with the executives on a regular basis to ensure consistency in issuing discipline, because I think that was
That's
one of
a
the reasons
critical piece.
for
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if any of our chiefs are deferring to the CPAs, to determine what discipline should be, then they're not really fully doing their job. My goal is to be able to create a situation where we have a series of filters throughout the organization to make us the very best we can be. And they start at recruitment and hiring and training first-line supervision, management, mid-level management, executive management. But within there, then, we have the community policing advisors, who are 2 trained attorneys, great experience, who have the ability to be able to look at serious cases and be able to spend the time necessary to evaluate those cases, to be able to make recommendations then to ensure, because they look at cases from throughout the organization, to ensure that we're being consistent in the application of discipline. To be able to ensure that we're meeting our burden of responsibility to the community that we serve, and we're doing things from a perspective of this is the best way we could be doing it and handling the cases that are involved. And then in addition, we have from the CCJV, we had the appointment of an Inspector General, and now just recently appointment of a Civilian Oversight Commission. All of these I see as filters in order to be able to make us the best we can be. People within the organization with these responsibilities are charged with raising their hand when they see something that's not being done as well as it can be, and bringing it to our attention so that we can rectify it. If there's something that it requires additional funding, then that objective third-party evaluation is helpful to bring to the board to be able to validate our need for additional budget dollars for whatever the piece is. And so I look at all of these working together in a way where we are operating at an optimal level, we're holding our people accountable in a way that everybody would be proud of, and we're moving forward as an organization where we're not at all afraid of people looking at what we do. We're very proud of what we do. We're as transparent as we can be because we have nothing to hide.
We support the transparency and accountability portion. Our concern has to do more with whether, especially now that we have Civilian Oversight Commission, Office of Inspector General, whether a constitutional policing advisor is even necessary if their primary function is to just ensure consistency in discipline. I can respect these 2 attorneys and their abilities, but they don't know law enforcement. Let's be realistic there. They don't know law enforcement, and these chiefs and your executives do. And what I'm getting from the executives is that they feel that these CPAs have far greater power than they ought to as advisors.
Okay.
And so I don't know that, I'm not sure we're going to come up with a solution here, but I just want to make you aware of that problem and that it needs to be fixed somehow. Right. Now, maybe your chiefs need to be stronger.
Yeah. You know, we've talked about this, and we will continue to talk about it. We've put out a clarification on what the role of the CPAs are relative to the disciplinary system and the value they bring to the organization overall. I think that it's a tremendous benefit for us to have them because they not only look at discipline but other significant issues within the department to ensure we're doing as well as we can for whatever the concern is. So I think there is tremendous value. While they've never sat in a black and white and done the job, they are very smart. They have worked in a policing environment, so they've been able to avail themselves to what's being done here, what's being done elsewhere, and what the expectations of the public are within our profession. And that's a big value to the organization. So as we move forward, we'll continue to accept any input we can get from POPA, from ALADS, from others that we serve, from individuals within the organization, because it certainly is important to me what the perceptions are within the organization of every filter that we have, of every individual that we have. We have so few people to do such a big job that everybody needs to operate at maximum capacity. And when we're not, then we're not the organization we could be. And that's kind of the reason that we have these filters in place, to be able to be as good as we can. You know, we also have Audit and Accountability Bureau that was put in as a result of CCJV. Again, these individuals who took on that job, it is not a fun job, but it is a job that is exceptionally, you know, positive for the organization in regard to being able to hold ourselves to a level that we can drill down, we can look at allegations made against the department, we can look at potential problems, and we can be able to come up with a validated study of what was right, what was not right, and what we've done to be able to fix it. And so having all of these moving parts in place to make us better makes us the organization that we all want to be proud of.
We appreciate the input that we do have with you on whatever the issues are. And we have seen a change in the CPAs and the chiefs, so we appreciate the fact that you did talk and address those issues. Morale in the Sheriff's Department is important to both the sheriff and to the unions as well. So we look forward to working with you to solve some of the problems, to improve morale and improve the effectiveness in the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Brian.